Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is really true, is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass. Because 32 years ago, guys, I was a dumbass. But today, 32 years later, through the grace of God, I can honestly say now I'm a smartass. And yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey, and that's what I was. I'm saying all that to say this. You know, we've all had the roughest few years of our lives all over the world, not just here. I'm a nutritional health coach, and I'm a recovery coach. All my services to you are free. And if you think my book can help someone, because I do, you can go right to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing, BAM, Barnes & Nobles, go to Amazon, and you can go to my website, www.geripetito.com, and please subscribe to the Geri Petito Show YouTube channel. I want to give a shout out to a few of my sponsors. Okay, I'm going to start with Paula Ann from Ablaze Entertainment and Freedom Rings Festival, helping survivors of human trafficking to live a life of normalcy. Okay, and her website, www.freedomringsfestival.com. Okay, Anthony Hudson, presidential candidate 2024, and Kevin Duncan, vice presidential candidate 2024. People before politics. That's their slogan. I don't usually get into the political realm, but I chose to do so because they're running as nonpartisan, and I also had the opportunity to interview them many times, and Anthony even came live in my studio more than once. But the producer here, Ruben, and I were honored to be invited to Yuma, Arizona this past year to go to the borders with the Border Patrol, Sheriff Department, and we covered everything that's going on, the reality of what's going on, okay? We're not being told the complete truth, guys. So if you want to talk to me about that or talk to Anthony, please reach out to me, okay? Now, I'd like to introduce my guests. I'm going to start with ladies first, so I want to say hello to Marie Norris. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Hold on, producer, someone is trying to come in. Try that again. So tell everyone first off a little bit about you, Marie.
I am a truck driving singer, songwriter. I'm a Nashville recording artist. And I I don't know. I just I do what comes naturally. I sing. I drive down the road. I try and write songs that mean something, that are pertaining to me and everyone else. Songs about power, songs about love. Every emotion that we go through in life. I think I was a little caught off guard by the other person entering the room. Because his face came up big in here. But anyway, yeah, and my message is simply, I love others as much as I love myself. And I try and praise the Lord when I can. I mean, I don't live life exactly the way I should. No one does. We're not perfect. We're human. But I try my best. I do my best. And at the end of the day, I treat people the way I want to be treated, and that's me in a nutshell. I just trying to do what's right,
Well,
whether that includes some people or not, you know.
I've gotten to know you, and I gotta say, what she's saying is true. And none of us are perfect. We sin every day, but once we give our lives to Christ, the difference in what a Christian does and the average person is, we try not to, and we fall short. And then we go right to God and we take it to God, and we know what's right and we know what's wrong. Okay, so Marie, I love you and thank you so much for honoring me again today. So you introduced me to Stephen. Stephen Myers, say hello to everyone.
Howdy.
So Stephen, howdy. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
My name's Stephen Myers. We have a Facebook group. Well, about all platforms there is, Truckers for Christ. It's a place you can go. You ain't got to wait till Sunday or Wednesday. It's a place where we can all come together and lean on each other. One of the biggest downfalls of churches today, they can build relationships with their communities. And that's where I hoped we're different. Because the way the modern day church today portrayed Jesus, he went and sat with sinners. He went to prostitutes. He went to them. He built that relationship, then he shared the gospel. That's what we try to do.
Okay. So now, introduce your friend who just came on.
Daniel Coors. I've known Daniel since the beginning, I guess. He is one of what. Let me do a little story. My walk kind of started because I've been driving 28 years, and in the last 3 years, 3 or 4, when we started the group, it just kind of took off like wildfire. Well, there's a event that USTA had rented the fairgrounds for Miss Arlene's birthday parties. She was like the mother of all truckers. I didn't get to know her personally until that day of her, but everybody knew it wasn't going to be long. She had cancer. So they rented the fairgrounds. That's where I met Daniel. You ever walk into a room, people talking about you? This whole thing's full of just drivers, and the ones that come shake my hand, I know who you are. I didn't know nobody. I wasn't even going to go with start with. And a friend of mine, Greg Anderson, he kept on and on and on and then I ended up with a load up there. But what got me was this, and it kind of set the tone for a path. The last one to come up to me and shook my hand, tears running down their face, said, "You have no idea what y'all do, what it means to us." And that got me. I remember going back to Truckers bawling. I'd never realized at the time, at the beginning of this journey, you never know who those you'll impact. See, a small commitment on your part can have deep impact to somebody else. And you might not even know.
So now let's say hello to your friend, and why don't you tell us a little bit about you? Can't hear you.
You got your microphone muted.
There we go. How's that?
Okay.
Okay. My name is Dan Coors. I'm from Indiana. Been driving truck for 16 years. Grew up in a small country town, southern Indiana. Went to college to be a Catholic priest. That didn't work out. Got married and have 5 kids. trucking advocate for truck drivers. Been a friend with Steve for many years now. Um, but no, it's just that's what I do. And then, like Steve was talking with Steve's whole Truckers for Christ thing, it's a wonderful organization. He does a lot of help. He helps a lot of drivers, and it's a lot of stress on him. And I guess what keeps me and Steve together more than anything is every beautician has a beautician that takes care of their hair. Well, every person that does counseling has somebody that they go to let loose on, and I think that helps draw me and Steve together. I mean, I'm that 1 a.m., 2 a.m. ear driving down the interstate trying to keep him from doing something crazy because he's had enough of it and can't handle it anymore, and talking through it, and he pops back up and he's good to go for another 2, 3, 4 weeks of doing what he does and helping people. But I mean, it is a huge bearing on him. I mean, it's a huge load for him to bear, and he does it. But there's times that he's got to have people, and I'm just one of those guys. I mean, I never heard a name once, never heard very much. It's just him just blending everything together and letting it loose at once, and just trying to give him inspiration and give him the push to keep going. That's mainly what I do for Steve, and then cause him frustration when I screw up.
It's so funny that you mentioned beauticians because I own beauty salons. And yes, I had to go to my girl, okay? So funny. But, all right, so now, Marie, let me get back to you.
Can I
So,
say one thing?
go ahead.
I understand Daniel's sentiment, but it's all about Jesus. He gets glory for it all. I mean, if it wasn't for him, none of us would even make it through this day-to-day life. Because one scripture that I use that's really if I'm going through a real dark valley, as thy days are, so shall thy strength be. So he doesn't know the day he's going to have it. The day he's going to have, he doesn't give you enough strength to handle it. But all glory goes to him. I mean,
That's right.
he's the one that set this path as each and every one of us go.
That's right. You're right, Stephen. So now, Marie, back to you for a minute. I remember our first interview, and
Right?
you
So
had
do I. It was one of my favorites.
it was one of my favorites, and you blew my mind. And you guys, well, you were talking also about suicide rate
Right.
with truck drivers
Amongst
and
truckers.
amongst truckers. Can you talk a little bit about that so everybody could hear it, please?
Oh, sure. You know, it's second to heart attack. Honestly, I believe the rate of drivers committing suicide every day. I'm not sure what the number is. I mean, Stephen has a better idea about that
Okay.
than I do, but I do know that it's claiming more lives than even heart attacks almost. I mean, you're sitting out here, you're lonely, you got no one to talk to. If you drive at night, you don't have anybody really that you can call, hardly. I mean, you're sitting there and you're getting deeper and deeper into the dark hole. You're stressed. You're depressed. Your situation does not have a light, or it doesn't seem like there's a light. You can't make levity. Laughter is very seldom, and you really, really don't think that there's any way out. And you get to this point where there's just no joy anymore. The joy is escaped. And it's just complete and utter darkness with no noise. There's no sound. You're just going through a dark tunnel. And it just gets low, thinner and thinner and thinner until it closes in on you. And by that time, you've done went too far. And I just want everyone to know, this is the way I feel. I get there. I do that. I'm human. Sometimes I am totally stressed and depressed, and I don't feel that I
Wait,
can go
Marie,
on.
Marie, I'm sorry, don't move so much because I could hear that sound.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
there you go.
But I am definitely, I go through it. You're not the only one. Even I do.
Okay.
I mean, and I write about it. Writing is my escape.
And
Writing
singing,
helps
right?
me.
And singing.
Right. And singing, it helps me to get my mind off of things. Because I have problems just like everyone else.
Yeah.
My problems aren't the same as yours.
Right.
I'm a different person. Our lives are different. You know, we go through different turmoil, but we all have it. And at the end of the day, we're different, but we're really not that different.
Okay.
We're the same in a lot of ways
Yep.
because we're still, at the end of the day, we're human.
Yep. You're right. Thank you
Can
for
I
sharing that. I'm sorry.
can I add something to what she was saying?
Go ahead.
Like in the truck stop, I notice this a lot. I'm a extrovert. I mean, and that's putting it lightly. I mean, I'm the truck stop guru. I know where all the best food, the best coffee, the best conversation, the best parking in the country is. That's me. I'm a truck stop guy. And you go in there and you're in there having conversations at the counter like the old days. And you still see those guys walk in who've got 20, 25, 30 years on the road. And they don't stop at that counter. No, they walk by that counter and they go to that back corner booth and they sit back there by themselves, quiet, talking to nobody. Majority of them are divorced. Majority of them don't speak to their kids much. They don't have nobody that they talk to because everything's done on Qualcomm and text and email. And they sit back there by themselves. Those are the men and women mostly men though, because of the age. Those are the men that I worry about the most because down deep inside, they're just going through the motion every day. And with the economy the way it is right now in trucking, I don't have a load this week for the rest of this week until Friday night. The same thing happened to me last week. I'm only getting half my work week to be able to work because there's no freight to haul. And that economic bearing, that when it comes down on you money wise, it's harsh. And even these guys that are company drivers, like me and Steve got buddies of ours that own small companies that have been giving out loans to their company drivers because they don't have any freight to haul, but they don't want their driver to leave them, so they've been just loaning them money just to help them pay their bills at home. And depression is a real thing, and it's dirty. I mean, I suffered from it for a while too, and there's times that I suffer really bad from it. I'll crawl into my truck for 3 days, and nobody will hear a word from me, and I just crawl up into nothing, and finally I get tired of it and have to get out and do something and try to change it. But it's just something natural that we do. We just hide away, and we don't want to be anywhere near it. And that, as an industry, and as what Steve does, we give those guys an outlet, or Steve gives those guys and those gals an outlet, a phone number to call, somebody to listen, somebody that's been there, somebody that knows what they're going through, understands what they're going through, and just to listen. And that's the biggest thing that I have to say to anybody that's suffering from depression, anxiety, that kind of stuff. Pick up the phone and make a call. Suicide is not the answer. 988, anywhere you go, just pick up the phone and call. It's that simple.
Thank you for sharing that. Now, Stephen, do you have the numbers, statistics about suicide rate with truckers?
4 days.
I'm sorry?
4 days.
4 a day. Wow. Do you want to comment on what they were saying?
Back in 2000, and was it Daniel? We done the running numbers. I think it was 16. Of all the industries, drivers and transportation industry was ranked 5th. in all the industries. Now it's ranked fourth. It's climbing. And that was, them numbers were ranked fourth was, if I'm not mistaken, 3 years ago.
Okay.
So I don't know what it is now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to read a poem out of my book that's appropriate for this conversation. And then we're going to play a song, one of Marie's songs, guys. All right. So this poem is called Put Down the Gun. And it can be anything you want to end your life with, okay? Your drug of choice, a real gun, anything you want to, end your life with. So it's very short, but it's powerful. So anyone out there struggling, please, please listen to every single word of this poem, okay? I had to have this purple gun just in case my life was done. I kept it safe locked in my room 'cause I was filled with gloom and doom. Yes, there were times that I just knew if I loaded it up what I could do. But I kept on hearing that gentle voice. Put down that gun, you have that choice. Life may seem hard at the end of the day, but that's when you need to really pray. Dear Father, I beg you to show me the truth. How can life be so bad when I'm only a youth? Get rid of that gun and go take a shower. Ask someone for help. You do have that power. So I want everybody out there to understand that suicide is real. Depression is real. You don't have to take your life, okay? Unfortunately, recently, a family member of mine and a friend's son of mine. So I'm here to really tell you, I'm always here, I'm always listening. Someone is listening. And if you want to get in touch with my guests, I can get you in touch with them as well. Please, please put down the gun. So, producer, go
I
ahead.
think it was a month, when was it? 3 weeks ago?
We have
3 weeks ago.
wait, Stephen, we have background noise on you now. Ruben, do you hear the background noise with Stephen?
Unless there was a car going by outside.
No, it's like, is it okay? It's okay now? Okay. So, Stephen, what were you going to say?
I think it was 3 weeks ago, I had somebody I knew, actually as well, commit suicide. And it's rough, it's especially hard, especially if you know them personally. Like I said, with our group stuff, we do a 12:30 service. When it's my turn rotation, you'll see a phone number. You need anything, you call it. You'll get this number right here. You'll get me. Go ahead with the song. I'll finish up the website stuff later.
Okay, so, producer, let's play our song now. Okay.
If you never sipped a Coke from a cold glass bottle, drank water from a garden hose. If you're an addict for AM static, craving that country gold. If you never, ever wrote a love letter or used a phone with a dial, let me say a little personal touch never goes out of style. I might not play as fast as you, but I'm still having a ball. You just need some time to catch up to me, that's all. Let me bring you up to speed on cool. I can tell you're new to old school. My truck's got cranked down windows, AC, 'cause I'm into stuff that works. And I still bring my old King James with me to church. My favorite kind of pie is moon. My favorite sound is twang. Even though we're worlds apart, it's okay, we can hang. I might not play as fast as you, but I'm still having a ball. You just need some time to catch up to me, that's all. Let me bring you up to speed on to their mothers. Won't be long till you'll be saying age is just a number. I might not play as fast as you, but I'm still having a ball. You just need some time to catch up to me, that's all. Let me bring you up to speed on cool. I can tell you're new to old school. You're new to old school.
Marie, that's beautiful. Tell everyone about that song.
I thought it was a unique idea. I got called old by a young fellow of like maybe 25 or so. And he kind of flirted with me a little bit after he called me old. But needless to say, afterwards, I got to thinking, the music was better in my day. TV was better in my day. Movies were better in my day. Yeah. Everything that was worth anything came from our generation. So, and the generations before us. So I was like, I need to think of something that's unique to the situation that will sound funny in a sense, because new to old school, that's kind of funny. It makes you be like, new to old school, what does that mean? And then, basically, they're doing new vinyl now, right? We had the original. We had original vinyl in the day. So, even though I'm only 42, I like the original vinyl, So,
I'm
new to old school.
I'm
Old
listening
school
to
made.
you. I'm listening to you, and you're only 42. My daughter's older than you. Okay, my daughter's 43, and I'm listening to you talk, and I'm thinking, in your day, what about mine?
Right. Well, you had Elvis, though.
No,
And Elvis is
listen.
better.
Listen, if you really think it through, I did have Elvis for a short time, okay, because he died when I was 16, but I'm still an old soul. You know that. I love all the oldies and Elvis and doo-wop, but it's amazing. You're right about everything you just said, and I love the song. And there's no one that cannot relate to that song, Marie. Everyone can.
Right.
So,
Right.
so now, guys, I'm going to give each one of you the mic again. Stephen, let's start with you. And take, a good 10 minutes and just say anything you want that you want everyone to know why we're here today.
Don't hold things in. The longer you hold it in, the more it's going to eat at you. This job isn't for everybody. Just like what I think it was Daniel said a while ago. I mean, imagine being 1,000 miles away from home and things just ain't going quite right at home, and you're in an 8-foot box by yourself with your worst enemy. Sometimes you can be your own worst enemy. Reach out to somebody. I'm a firm believer you have to help somebody go through whatever valley they're going through. You've had to been through it yourself to order to have. If not, it's like a 20-year-old trying to give marriage advice that's never been married before. I think the reason why we deal mostly with suicide is 20 years ago, there was a guy that pulled the trigger and it clicked. That guy was me. You would have thought I'd been a wake-up call, but hey, I'm stubborn. So, I mean, I went through that. I was a womanizer, cheated on my wife, drug addict, you name it, I've done it. And I ain't got the market cornered on nothing. Only thing I know is February of 2005, that Stephen died. And Jesus made a new one. He broke my heart and put it back together. And not everybody's on the same levels as far as, I guess you'd say, not maturity levels, but as far as spiritually goes. But life is a process. I go out west a lot. If you ever noticed, nothing grows at 12,000 feet elevation. Everything grows in the valley. It's through those darkest times it's where we learn. You know, pain can drive you back to the feet of Jesus. Pain is necessary in a lot of cases. Paul said it best. He said, that I may know him through the fellowship of his suffering. He said, by the power of the resurrection and the fellowship of his suffering. There's some things about God you are only going to learn through suffering. At the Red Sea, he didn't move it all out of the way. He just made a way through it. Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, they still went through the fire, but he was there with them. So each and every one of us have purpose, and he'll see you through whatever you're going through. So think about this. If you're listening to this now, and you're having a tough time and struggling and everything else, think about all the things in your life, all the things you've been through. You're still standing. You're still here. So if you made it through that, you can make it through this. And if you ever need to reach out, my number, like I might have said, my number at the top of the videos. Can I say it on here?
Mm-hmm.
205-300-7140. If you need to talk, whatever, you get this phone right here. Also, we got a website. It's www.driverscrisiscenter.org. We got things for veterans. We got suicide, anxiety, depression, addiction, domestic violence. We've also, not just suicide, but we've helped those that got out of domestic violence situations to airports to fly home to their families. We also take care of that as well. So whatever the Lord lays in front of us, He gonna help us. He laid it in front of us for a reason, so He gonna help us deal with it. Each and every one of us here, when we have purpose, don't ever forget that.
Thank you for that. Wow. Daniel, take the mic. Give us about 10 minutes of something you'd like to talk about.
Well, like with the whole subject, everybody's talking today about suicide and depression and all that. That's the main reason why Steve brought me on here, is because I'm with CDL Drivers Unlimited. That's the advocacy group that me and Steven are both part of, and we're the ones that came in and helped him design that Truckers Crisis Center. And it's one of the main things that we really spent a lot of time with when we were becoming active with the organization, was to build this crisis center, because, I mean, we really believe that the health of a truck driver is their mental health is huge because of safety on the highway. If somebody is suffering from depression, anxiety, stressed out over finances, somebody dying in the family, all of those different issues, that makes them less safe on the road doing their job when that's affecting their mind. And the Driver Crisis Center, or Truckers Crisis Center, is so important to have. And we opened it up to everybody everybody. It's free through CDL Drivers Unlimited to use that. And we didn't make it like a members only type thing. We made it open to everybody because we felt so passionate about making sure that it was a very much needed tool for all drivers, whether you're a member of our organization or not. And so I see a huge need for that in this industry. I mean, there's days that I'm down in the dumps horrendously, and then just so happens Steve calls me up and irritates me and kind of gets me out of that mood. So We call it helping. I call it irritating. But no, I mean that's the best thing that I can say about it. And then like I said earlier, I'm one of the guys that Steve comes to when he's down and he's stressed out of his mind, and it's so people think, well, he's just listening to, he doesn't really care. No, when that man calls me up and he is crying unbelievable tears. I mean, just the hurt, the stress, the pull it does on his body, some of these phone calls that he gets and how much he cares is just, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's just how much he cares about drivers, and how much we as an organization care about drivers, and how we work with each other to make sure. And everybody's like, well, why don't you do what Steve does? No. That's not me. That's not me. That's Steve. That's his calling. My calling's to listen to Steve and talk to other and do my thing in the political side of things.
Okay.
His is that whole counseling thing. And everybody's like, well, he's not doing this and this and this. I said, that's not Steve. Steve's this. Don't push that onto Steve. And so, because I kind of like I know where people are. I know where Steve's heart is, and his heart is huge into this counseling thing. I mean, and the reason is because Steve really is filled with the Holy Spirit. He really is. I mean, for a man to go from where his beginnings were to what he got himself into to where he is now, he's got to be full of the Holy Spirit. Otherwise, he wouldn't be the person he is today. We wouldn't have Truckers for Christ. We wouldn't have the Driver Crisis Center. I mean, if the Holy Spirit wasn't involved, we wouldn't have none of that. And yeah, we wouldn't have Steve either.
Okay, well, thank you for all that.
But no.
Wow. Okay, Marie, we're going to close out with you, sweetheart. So, unmute your mic and tell everybody out there a little bit about what you want to close with.
We're talking about suicide and everything. Stephen approached me about the song, writing a song with that for this driver's counseling thing. And it's supposed to be like it was discussed to be the song of the page, kind of like on the front page or whatever, or pertaining to something to do with it anyway. We never got really into that yet because of it's not even released yet. But the song is written, and it's meant to be kind of uplifting, letting you know someone's there, someone's in the same spot with you, and there's someone there to listen. Even being me, him, or Daniel, or anyone else, someone is there, and even a total stranger cares. Trust and believe you are not alone. We are all in this together. And basically, that's what the song states. It is, granted, for truckers. That was who I had in mind whenever it was written. But quite frankly, it's universal. It could be for any person that's going through the same thing. It is definitely a song that can touch the souls of many. Because suicide's not the answer. Suicide is not the answer. I don't want to use the word selfish, because in your mind that could be the only thing that could be the way out. But technically, you have people that love you. And as long as you're breathing, and I'm going to quote my song, as long as you're still breathing, you're a survivor with a story to tell. And your story could help the next person. And you need to still be here to share it.
Beautiful. Thank you, Marie. So I want to thank you guys for coming on and sharing the stories. Again, everybody, Truckers for Christ. So please, please know that someone is listening. Please put down the gun. Producer, take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.